Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, special occasion Jaggernaut Podcast, because this is coming off of the heels of a victory against the dreaded Tennessee Titans.
Woo!
Should we give them a Duval?
Oh, hell yeah, they deserve one. Ready?
Duval! How does it feel? How does it feel, brother?
Man, it feels good. I tell you what, I wonder if I care about the football team winning, or if I just care about feeling that feeling when we win, the jubilation. You know, the I don't know how to.
You don't have to.
I don't know how to express.
You don't have to differentiate, because if you didn't care, you wouldn't have the feeling, right? Like
Good
if you
point.
watch another
Good point.
team, you're like, well, man. I mean, even if you're pulling for whatever reason for one team or another, if it's like ho hum, afterwards, you didn't care that much about it. But the fact that you can sort of feel. I think we brought this up last week, Jags lose. I don't feel like watching football afterwards, it kind of spoils my appetite for football. And if they win, it's like, oh, let's watch some football. So, I mean, it just, it's part of being a fan, short for fanatic. So you got that aspect of it where you just.
Well, good. Then I'm not alone, because, yeah, that's the way I was feeling after this win. Which we have not done since, 2009?
Almost a decade, man. 9 years.
Damn.
Since we have, I guess we beat the Titans.
Gus Bradley.
Was it?
Bradley was our coach the last time we won in Tennessee.
I would have, if that was a trivia question, I wouldn't have that would have been the last coach of our history. Of course, I mean, it had to have been, but yeah, that doesn't make. I don't remember that game. I don't know, man.
You know what? So I will say, normally I'm always on the Jags because we set records in the opposite way.
Right.
I will say that this year it has been different. It's as much as I'm on them, as much as I'm on the coaches, as much as I'm on Balky. Trust me, I'm still on there. It is different. We have won 5 games. We have beaten teams on the West Coast, so we took that out of there. We have beaten the Titans, in Tennessee. Now, here we go. The most important one. I know people are going to disagree. It's the Jets. It's the Jets on Thursday night. Do you know why, Frank?
No, enlighten me.
Because we short ourselves on Thursday night.
Oh.
We get primetime games, and we look horrid. Awful. Discombobulated.
It's a good point. That's a good point. I kind of felt like they set us up for failure. I know they, out of sympathy, were giving us, the one primetime game that they felt obliged to do it, but it felt like for 3 years in a row they were making us play the Titans, and they were doing that stupid color rush bull crap. So not only did the teams look completely stupid, us in mustard gold,
yellow, yeah,
and
it looked
the
like
Titans
yellow.
in baby poop blue, and of course we were going to get destroyed because we're the Jags and they're the Titans, and that's how life works. Up until yesterday, life changed. Well, football life.
So, brother,
Football life.
what's going on with the glasses?
this may not. It depends on how old you are, whether or not you get this analogy or phrase or cliche or whatever. I have shades on because the future looks bright. All right, I'm gonna take them off now. Yeah, I feared that might be as lame as it sounded, but
I think it's actually a song.
yeah. Future so
And
bright, you gotta wear shades.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty old for that one.
Yeah. All
right,
we're old.
So give
man.
me your 3 top players of the game.
Okay, so before I don't want to throw out anybody else but Lawrence.
Okay.
Because what we saw yesterday, and it's part of me wearing those shades. This year I don't care so much about what happens. We could come out and we can lose to the Cowboys, and for all intents and purposes, if that happens, the year's over. What we saw yesterday cemented to me that we have something that this franchise has never had, which is we have a franchise quarterback. And I know there's still going to be ups and downs. Not every game's going to be like what we saw. The past 4 games, we have seen Trevor keep on that trajectory. It doesn't necessarily equate to wins because this is not a team that is that great. I mean, that's just something I think that we have to acknowledge. This is a team that has issues. And that game yesterday exemplified all of that. Trevor put the team on his back. And yes, there were turnovers. There were 4 turnovers that helped it. But you have to capitalize. The running game was non-existent. And Trevor basically made us beat the Titans. And the biggest thing, I'm going to say the biggest thing. It's not even so much, okay, there's so much good in this because we beat the Titans and statistically it was this great game. I mean, I thought he was going to get 400 yards at one point. He got close, 370 or something like that. 4 touchdowns. He keeps stacking great games together. Then at the end of the game, when they took that cheap shot, when it's victory formation, come on, stop doing that. What the Titans did. And Trevor's the one that got in the guy's face. Then when the game's over, he goes out and he's waving goodbye to the fans, Hey man, that's my dude now. Like, I'm on the Trevor train. I'm rolling with that guy now. He showed me what I needed to see. And yeah, I know that he's gonna have bad games. I understand that. I understand the NFL. I think most fans understand the NFL. So that's the biggest takeaway from me. And it does exemplify it in the fact that it was the Titans. So to me, that means something earth-shattering in regards to the franchise trajectory. Like, we now are on the way up. We have the most marked difference between how good our quarterback is compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in our division than I would argue anybody's got in any division in football, in the NFL. Name a quarterback that has that, because our team's quarterback is way better than all the other quarterbacks in our division. Now, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm saying that gap is the biggest. And that's what I'm most stoked about, because I think now we got that our floor is now much higher than it's ever been before. So now the coaching staff can figure out and start implementing and making changes to try to figure out how they can fix all the other problems going on around him, because we've got that stability. So obviously Trevor's one of the 3, and I can give you another 2. I just wanted to throw that to you.
Let's pause real fast so I can say, welcome to the fold, my brother. I called it. Who called it? This guy called it.
I thought you were on the Bash and Trevor train a month ago.
Oh, I was upset. I was upset with him. But I've told you all along, I've liked him since I've watched him at Clemson.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've always said this. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. None at all. Especially, it feels good a lot of times to admit you're wrong. And I was wrong. Now, I never said he was a bust. So, go back and watch the tape on that. And I'm not saying you said I said that, but just for people who might be listening, never said he was a bust. I think I did say that I'm pretty sure he'll never be a franchise quarterback. I'm pretty sure I said that. So I'm backtracking hard on that, and I'll eat crow or whatever. But I'm happy to eat it. It's great because I always thought he could make it to, like I said, he could still. I'm not calling him a bust. He could still be a serviceable quarterback. That wouldn't surprise me, but I would be shocked if he became a franchise quarterback. And now I'm of the mindset, I think he's gonna be. I actually think this guy's the legit franchise type quarterback. So that is a change. I was wrong.
Number 2, who's your second guy?
My second guy would be Tyson Campbell.
Woo! Tyson was smoked. He was Chick-fil-A yesterday. As you know, Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. Tyson Campbell has made at least 2 badass plays I saw. I agree. Tyson Campbell for number 2.
That was your number 2?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Wow.
No,
okay.
I mean, I like him. I would put him up there.
You're just throwing 3.
Yeah.
Man, who else? Because I mean, you got to go Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram.
I think
obviously.
So.
I don't know why it took me so long to pop into my head. That was an amazing.
I think so. Followed by Zay Jones. Evan Ingram had a career day.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, hell yeah, good game. Right. Walker finally had a sack, and not only a sack, a strip sack, which may have actually changed the momentum of that game.
Yeah, that was early, wasn't it?
It was early.
Yeah.
That allowed us to steal an extra possession and go put some points on the board. Woo! Did you notice, Frank? He was on the ground.
Yeah.
He did not rush standing up. He rushed on the ground in his 3-point stance.
Peterson mentioned a couple things, too, in his press conference because they asked him. Did they ask him about that specifically? I think they may have. And he said some things that we've been saying. It's like, if that's not working, then you have to change it to make it work. And hey, that's what you have to do and the frustrating thing, and I know there's been some, and there still is a lot of back and forth in Jag fan kingdom about the defense and the defensive struggles and players versus plays. And this isn't an argument to say it's one or the other because both are included. But it feels like the people who want to say it's the players are trying to defend the coaches. When I'm saying it's the coaching, I'm not defending the players. The players still got to play. But if you put a player in a bad position to succeed, and this isn't in a vacuum, this isn't just them doing the combine or something. They're going up against other professional players that their coaches have actually put them in better positions. And then you're like, the players didn't perform. Yeah, because you're stacking the deck against your players. Now, I'm not saying that's happening. That's the question. Is the coaching staff doing it?
Oh, yeah, I think that's
Or were
happening.
they? Or are they still?
So Josh Allen. Perfect example. Josh Allen doesn't have a lot of sacks this year, right? Tell me why.
Well, for one, there's a couple reasons. The interior defensive line are not doing their job like they're supposed to. Walker isn't getting pressure. You can hold Walker, or you have been able to hold him, so you don't have to double team. You can focus on Allen, and they're not blitzing Allen a lot. They're
Woo!
dropping him back in
Let's
coverage.
put Allen at cornerback. Hell yeah. That's the secret to success. Woo!
Yeah.
Come on, man. See, that's not players. That's plays.
Right.
When you have your defensive end dropping back into coverage,
exactly.
that is plays. Plain and simple. You can't rush the passer when you're covering the receiver out of, or the running back out of the backfield, or the tight end, or dropping into your zone. You can't do it.
You also saw they had Trey Herndon playing slot, and they put Darius Williams outside.
That was something new that they had talked about. Most likely, you're going to see that moving forward.
That is what they needed to do.
Yes.
And it's funny because Peterson said in his press conference, it goes back to watching the tape. And even going back to what they did. I'm thinking, you spent a lot of money on a guy who did a certain thing on the team that he used to play for in a successful manner enough to justify you spending the money, and you bring him here and you change it, what he's going to do. Now, okay, it's not a huge change, you know. Maybe they looked at him and said, he looks like a slot corner. He kind of does. He's not exactly tall, so you know, but that's not what he played. And so, you know, you have Trey Herndon out there, and that's what he played. So they took a slot, and we've seen the Trey Herndon experiment with other coaching staffs where they put him outside and they put him back in the slot for a reason. So we took a slot or outside corner, made him a slot, took a slot, made him the outside corner, and then we wonder why we're having secondary problems.
So let me ask you a question. How bad is your defensive coaching staff when you do that?
Well, in fairness...
Oh, I know. It's Chad Muma's fault. That's Chad Muma's fault right there because he's not making plays.
In fairness, there's nothing wrong with trying things out. But if you're good at your job, when you're dealing with the players in ramping up to the season, you ought to have an idea about whether or not they fit the role you're asking them to play. And that, to me, again, makes it seem like there's a coaching problem on the defensive side because Caldwell and his staff, and the buck stops with Caldwell, have not put pieces in place. And I want to, so, you know, Trayvon should be at defensive end. He should not be an outside linebacker. And I know the thought process is that you've got this big, fast, long guy on the outside. And I get why they would find that appealing. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make sense. Our interior defensive line is not stout. And so if you take one of your stouter guys, bring him inside, since he's not succeeding out there, then you've got Lloyd. Lloyd is lost in coverage. Everybody sees it, okay? He's a rookie. This is what happens. The good teams don't play rookies right away. We do because we're not a good team yet. So it's not unreasonable to see a rookie struggle, especially when it comes to the head game, the X's and O's, and he's not fast right now because he's hesitant because he's not sure about what he's doing. Put him on the end, put him at outside linebacker. We've tried him at inside linebacker, put him at outside linebacker. So basically what I'm saying is like move Trayvon inside and bring Lloyd up where Trayvon used to be and let Lloyd do what Trayvon, instead of dropping Josh Allen back into coverage, drop Lloyd, which is he's going to be there almost all the time anyway, unless he's blitzing from the inside position. So then you bring Muma on the field, and you've got two decent inside linebackers now, because Muma clearly seems to me to have that part of the game down better than Lloyd. So you may maximize the two investment picks that you made, actually three. So Trayvon, Lloyd, and Muma are all going to benefit. Why would you not do that? to me. And that's, I think, what we're seeing. I don't know what it's, to me, they haven't made that adjustment. So that's a strike against them. And the fact that they didn't see it from the get-go, or at least early on, enough to make that change is a problem.
After week 4, they should have started to make that change.
Yeah, I agree.
Literally.
I agree.
Literally.
Once Lloyd started to struggle, because he got out the gates pretty good, so
yeah, it
maybe
should
that,
not be. It
maybe
should
that
not be
caused
13.
them to think they were
It
on the
should
right
not
track.
be 13 weeks into the season before we finally start to see a little semblance of a change. Don't misunderstand this game. Derrick Henry ran roughshod over our entire defense for the entire first quarter. He had 98 yards and a TD by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
The defense, honestly, did not start really playing until very late in that second half. Then we came out in the third. We scored. And for some reason, the defense took off.
Yeah.
At that point, they peeled their ears back, whatever it is they say, and they were going. Tennessee couldn't pass, and Tennessee went away from the run because they had to. They were already down 2 scores. They had to try to make it up. That took Derrick Henry out of the equation. That let the defense play, and the defense played very well. I want to give an honorable mention. Dewey. Dewey got an interception, and he got hurt trying to tackle Henry in this game. You know what I told you about the last time these two teams met, and Dewey didn't do very well. He did damn good, and he came back into the game. Thank you. Shaquille Quarterman.
Yeah.
Woo, Jacksonville's own. Nailing Derrick Henry. Calls in the fumble, went right into Josh Allen's hand. Hell yeah. They hardly ever put you on the field.
That was a beautiful hit too, man.
But hell yeah on that hit.
Beautiful hit too. Boy, I cannot remember the last time I've ever seen Derrick Henry look like his feet went up in the air, man. I thought they should have tested him for a concussion. He didn't show any symptoms, in fairness. I'm just that the way his back of the head hit the ground pretty hard.
Stuck.
Yeah, he got stuffed, man. Quarterman came in and cleaned his clock good.
White.
And I'm telling you what, man, that's something too psychological. When you see the big dog, when the guy who owns everybody, when he comes in and one of your guys stands up and just smacks him in the mouth, and it's like, okay, we can do this now. And there's something psychological about it. I don't know that you can grasp onto it because it's not exactly something you could hold, but you see it, you feel it, and it's like that. It's one of those moments where it was like the Titans. This is not your game. This was not your game, even though we have our issues and we've talked about them. But I don't know.
My last honorable mention.
Okay.
Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Horrible game last week.
Right.
Horrible. You probably cost us. I'm not going to say cost us that game, but had you maybe got that touchdown, your second drop, I think it was, that might have changed the dynamics of the game. At least allowed us to stay more on pace with Detroit. You came back and you had an excellent game. You had an excellent grab, 2 feet down. Good job. Hell yeah. That was a very nice catch in the end zone. Good concentration.
Yeah, that was there was some hell of a catches, man. The Ingram catch to the side, man, the ball placement was like pinpoint. I mean, the moving in the pocket, just to get back on to Lawrence, it's like, man, that's top tier stuff, man. What he did all game long was top tier stuff.
Here's if you want to know what it takes and what an NFL quarterback looks like, you can go back and rewatch this game.
You're not wrong. No, it's not just, you're talking about top NFL quarterbacks. That's like,
he was dropping dimes. He ran.
Yep.
Now, did you hear Peterson? Peterson said they didn't call that play.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch that again. It didn't look clumsy to me.
He said
I saw the linebacker free, but I didn't know. But I've seen that before.
Yeah, so he said it. He said they called a run, and Trevor saw the linebacker flash, so he took the ball out, stiff armed him,
like,
and just he was like, "Bye."
I'm making it I'm making it an option today.
Yep. Hey, and I'm okay. I'm okay that he has that power to freelance like that.
Well, and it's funny too because on that play, he had what looked like a Derrick Henry stiff arm, and that is now trending sort of on Jags Twitter. I mean, everybody's posting this picture of the quarterback. Not today, buddy. Just get away, Sonny, with the stiff arm and just making a touchdown. And so it's kind of emblematic of his performance, I think, to a certain extent. I mean, it was his first rushing touchdown. I never realized, like, he had multiple rushing touchdowns last year by this time. So that's interesting that this is, his first. Probably says something about the trust that he has in the receivers now that he didn't have last year.
Yeah, he keeps bringing them up. He keeps bringing it up. He's like, I'm just allowing my playmakers to make plays.
The receivers last year were abysmal, man.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that.
I know. I'm just saying it's like it's worth repeating. So, people say things and it's coach speak. I mean, Trevor does coach speak quite a bit. So that's not just coach speak. That's him seeing a big difference because and your point is, Zay Jones, bad game last week, and so if you can get if we can somehow get that consistency, boy, I'm talking about Calvin Ridley coming in too next year. I don't think we have to focus on receiver, because Zay is going to be here at least another year based on the contract. I believe.
I think if there is a good one there, we take him.
Yeah. BAP, I got no issues, but like I said, I want to focus on offense.
Cornerback, tight end, offensive line.
Yeah, we need offensive linemen. Our offensive line is a joke. Like, my gosh, they're a joke. I mean, and it's funny because they're great at pass protection. Like, they really are giving Trevor a lot of time. Now, he's helping them, but that's how that works. Their ability to do anything and I've been on this, even the runs, when they get runs, it's all schemed runs. We've been talking about this all year. You never see them move the pocket. This is what is really hampering us because our coach has no confidence that we can get a yard. In a standard I set, type formation, you're not going to get that yard. And it doesn't matter who you're up against. They will stop you. Your offensive line moves nobody. And it's unfortunate too because we're doing what we did the past couple years, in that we got Brandon Sheriff from the Redskins, the Commanders, the football team, whatever we're calling them, and they, he's been known as one of these great offensive linemen, and as soon as he gets here, no, he's not. I mean, he's really not that good. He just, all year, you see him do stuff, and you're like, I thought you were good, He's Norwell. We got another Norwell. I mean, it's like I keep waiting for him to turn back into whatever he was previous, and we got to stop doing that. Getting players that have lost, and paying the most for them. That's hurting us because now coming this year, we got the quarterback, which is the most important thing, but man, they got a lot of salary cap stuff coming. And that doesn't help. You're paying. You paid Cam Robinson a lot of money. He's not good. He's average, not good. And what do you do with what?
You got Walker Little in the back.
Yeah, I'm of that mindset too.
You'll be able to swap them out.
Yeah, Jawan Taylor.
Yeah.
As good as he's playing now, this is like, dude, where you been all this time, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm of the mindset that ship him out. I don't want to pay Little, or I don't want to pay Taylor. I'll put Little back at right. Focus this draft on offensive line. Get a bunch of jars on the shelf and let them battle it out in camp. Cause but anyway, I don't. We don't have to get into that future stuff. I didn't really even mean to. We kind of
The
fell into it.
Cowgirls. Woo! Cowgirls are coming to town.
Struggled against the Texans. Okay, not sure what that means. When you think about that, does that make it better, or does it not change anything for you?
It doesn't change anything. That was a letdown game to me, and they still won it.
Yeah, that's the way I'm thinking about it. Too.
Traditional letdown games, you lose.
Yeah,
But they actually won their letdown game. They had it, and then they just pulled it out at the end, and they squeaked by. And that's what good teams can not even show up some games and barely beat bad teams. And people are always like, oh, my God, they lost to such a bad team. Like, well, they didn't even show up.
Yeah.
You know, they were worried about dinner plans afterwards and going and getting some beers. They didn't care.
Right.
So that's what I think. I don't think that they will do that to us specifically because of Baltimore and because of Tennessee.
Well, because
Their
of Trevor
coaching
too.
their coaching staff is going to be like, look at these guys.
Yeah.
Baltimore came in, they lost. They went to Tennessee, they lost. This team can beat us.
Yeah.
And Dallas gives us fits here.
That's true.
I wouldn't think they would, because usually when you have a team move from a dome, an artificial turf, into real grass, they're a half a step slower. Whereas you've been playing on it, you're not a half a step faster, but you were quicker on it, if that makes sense. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just whatever you're used to when you play.
Yeah.
So that gives us just a slight advantage. But Dallas has weapons, man. CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard. You know, I mean, I'm not a huge Dak guy. I don't think Dak's all that great. But they can ground and pound you, and Dak's good enough to get the ball out. They have, who's that Schultz dude for their tight end? Dalton Schultz. I bet you he whoops Lloyd's ass. You sit there laughing like you don't know who he is.
No, I was laughing because I thought that's the guy that that was on our team for a cup of coffee. Is that not him? Maybe I'm getting my Schultz confused. We had a tight end that showed up one year and didn't do much, and then he got hurt. And
then he might have went somewhere and been great. Who knows? That's what Jags do.
We may have got, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
anyway,
yeah.
He's capable. He's capable. Right. And then they have a really good defense.
Yeah.
So this is a test. So if we fail this test, we're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, if Micah Parsons lines up against Cam Robinson, I'm scared.
And I mean, and to me, it's okay. I know that sounds horrible. It's okay. We got 5 wins. We may be able to get 1 or 2 more wins, which will put us at 6 and 7. Trevor looks like he is our guy moving forward. Hey, Con, do me a favor. Go sell the Kismet so that you have that $300 million to give him when hit to do.
He can just get a loan. He'll just put the Kismet up for collateral.
Oh, well, that works. You know how rich people do it. They don't really own anything.
Yeah.
They just move shit around everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the Titans are very, I'm sorry, the Cowboys are very Titan-esque. Dak is a better Tannehill. The only difference is, well, there's a lot of differences, but thing that jumps out at you is they have weapons on the outside that can hurt you. And I wasn't super scared of the Titans' weapons. And for a minute there, they started moving the ball. Tannehill was throwing a ball on us, but of course we're focused on Derrick Henry. So which makes sense, but yet we're focused on him and he's still running. So Zeke and Pollard, you know,
Yeah,
that's a
so
good
here's-
offensive line.
Yeah,
Better
here's the
offensive line than
deal.
the Titans.
I don't think our defense can hang with this offense.
No.
You
Well,
know,
our defense can't hang with anybody
So
unless we get turnovers somehow.
yeah, and that's exactly what we'll need. We'll need them to make mistakes, and for us to get up 2 scores, 3 scores, for us to really, I think, have a legitimate shot. Now, could it be close? Yeah, it could end up being a close game.
Yeah.
But this is a game I see getting away from us, and it's going to get away
Yeah.
from us because our defensive coordinator doesn't know how to put the pieces he has in the right places. Triangle and triangle hole, circle and circle hole. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Yeah. No, I think we've got a firm grasp on what our issues are on, and by we I mean me and you, not our team. Not our team fountainheads or figureheads, but I think, and I've said this before, I think on this podcast that I kind of label coaches either your Parcells or your Jimmy Johnson, and you're going to come in with your scheme and you're going to fit the players to it, and the GM's got to get me my players I need for my scheme, or you're going to go, what do I have? What can they do? Let's do this, because that'll maximize now. And I think it's clear Caldwell is
A Parcells
3-4
guy.
scheme, blah, 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 hybrid, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, do they do that good, though? Doesn't matter. We're going to do Caldwell's scheme, And, and people can think that fans, like, with our opinion, are picking on Caldwell. I want Caldwell to succeed. I don't want anything, I've got nothing against Caldwell. It's just, at a certain point, you see it over and over again. And when Peterson comes out and says, yeah, we did this, and it's like, yeah, that's the changes you should have you should have done.
The only reason why I'm on Caldwell is because I think he deserves the criticism.
Right.
Who else is going to give him this criticism?
Well, sometimes I think it's like a forest for the trees. They're so in the building, they're not taking the same perspective the fan is. And they're like, no, if we just, he's got to do this, and then that'll happen and it'll be successful. It's like, but he's not doing that. And he hasn't done it. It's like, it seems like there's a disconnect there where they see something different. There's a different perspective inside the building, and it doesn't allow them to see what the fans see. And, this guy doesn't have a reputation for success. This is his first defensive coordinator stint, and so far it's not good. There's no reason to pretend that it is, and there's no reason for us to pretend that it's going to change if they're actually not showing that they're going to change. So that's the frustrating part. And if you saw him making changes, now up until this week there were some changes, and if they go forward, then you can say, oh man, we just really got some bad players. He can't get these guys to do anything. Look at all the changes he's made. But he's like, no, this is the way we got to do it. But it's not good, So anyway, everybody sees it, and hopefully the coaching staff will at some point get a better grasp on it. And you keep going, well, maybe there's things we don't know. And I'm like, I'm tired of saying that, because it doesn't ever seem like that's the truth. Because when they do things like what the common knowledge says, it succeeds more often than not. And you go, well, why were you guys doing it this way the whole time? What is this information that you guys have that makes you think what everybody else sees is wrong and what you see is right? You get tired of saying that as a fan, because it doesn't seem like it's rocket science, You're looking at it and you're going, man, boy, that guy sure looks like a 3 technique. You guys play him. You guys are playing him an outside linebacker. I don't know. Have you tried 3 technique? I mean, that guy at Utah, every play he was doing good. It was all upfield attacking. That's kind of where you got Trayvon. You know, if you and Muma seems to be okay back there. You know, it doesn't seem like rocket science. I don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. He doesn't know.
None of us.
We know. We know.
We know.
We are the couch coaches, and we know.
We know the future is bright
The future is bright, sir.
because
you gotta
we
wear
have
shades.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's right.
And I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to get on this T-Law stuff.
TNT. TNT.
I can't call Trevor Lawrence T-Law. That sounds too weird to me. But
That
anyway,
sound a bit goofy, right?
kinda.
Yeah.
Anyway, it sounds like
agree.
you're trying too hard. You know, it's like he's cool. Well, I'm trying too hard being cool. Never mind.
Yeah. You were just making fun of
I should
yourself.
start saying T-Law.
Well, I guess, yeah. And so it's like having glasses on. Is
It's
that what
like
you're
having
saying?
glasses on indoors. And I always hate people that do that. But I had a purpose. It was a gimmicky joke. Like wasn't a great joke, but I'm just throwing things out. Trying to get subscriptions and likes and comments. So.
You heard it here. Boom.
All right, guys.
Ready?
We'll see you next time. What?
Dude.